What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I see you guys piling into the room. Got my YouTube peeps in the house as well. Good morning to you guys. We got CJ bright and early. Good morning to Albert, Alex. We got Anna. Good morning. We got Bill, Brian Reppel in the house. Good morning to Cameron. Carlos, good morning. Carrie, Kathy, Corey, D, Daniel, DC, Doc, man. It's only the people in the beginning of the alphabet that get some shout outs just because it's so long. We got Joel, we got JT. Good morning, Larsley and Michael. We got Mike, Nancy. Good morning. We got Rex. We got Rock Fullwood. Good morning to Ron, Roger. We got Sean, Simon. I'm trying to get to the end of the alphabet. We got Wally, Warren says, Sebastian, good morning to everybody. I just didn't have time to cover everybody's name, but good morning to everybody. Hope you guys are doing absolutely incredible. And we kind of halfway through a free week. So technically not yet. Technically maybe like 12 noon Eastern we'd be there. But I do appreciate you guys joining us each and every day. Let's get to the market. Let's see what's going on. We do have a little bit of a gap down. So last 2 days of free week. You can't plan it any better. You just can't. We every single day prior to free week, just massive ranges, pretty good size candles. And then they give us we're like, yeah, we're gonna do free week, which we plan out a full year in advance. And we get the smallest trading ranges you could possibly get. So we'll see. But again, this is the market. You can't fake the market. The market is going to do what the market is going to do. As much as people love to call tops, love to call bottoms, love to call direction changes, the market will do whatever the market is going to do. As a trader, you just got to flow with it. You got to make sure that you just stick to your plan, because the longevity of your plan, that's what's going to get you paid. That's what's going to turn you from I hit some trades to win, I hit some trades to lose, but I'm not really making any money, to, all right, I'm consistently profitable in the markets, right? And that's our goal as traders. Just, it doesn't matter if you win on trade, lose on trade. Some days you're going to get these tight ranges. The long term, the longevity of just repeating the process over and over again, having a steady plan, that will make it. So Two small trading range days. We'll see what happens. We are getting a little gap and go in the market. Am I excited and really, really impressed by this gap down? No, not yet. Not yet. We're still in this big one candle. So this is the candle we've been talking about forever. Is today the day we finally could break through it? We're below the 10 EMA on a daily. That hasn't happened in a while. The last time though it did happen, let's find it. Right here. So here's a little bit of a gap down, and we rallied right back up through it. We got some level of like, yeah, if people are trying to buy low on this candle, again, I don't know if this thing breaks through or not, but we are trading risk to reward. If somebody could get in to a stock here, which I think you could have about 4 a.m. this morning, and you're throwing your stop here, because if it breaks this zone, it's probably going lower, right? So there could be a decent bullish case that even though this is a gap and go, I think we are able to probably get back up to some of these ranges, maybe even into, I would probably look at retesting to 454.48. Then we have to see if that one breaks. If that one breaks, probably the next stop could get us to 455.90, and we're kind of right back into this. So not saying that we are going to fade this gap or that has to happen, but I could make a really good case where if some traders want some good risk to reward, that's a candle you really don't want to break down. So you right now you're getting a little bit of that risk to reward. We'll see. We will see. We got Lauren wants to take a look at pins and Boeing. Let's take a look at the Qs real quick. Alex wants to take a look at Tesla. All right. So we got the Qs, a little bit of a gap and go as well. Do we have a massive amount of people trapped in this thing? Probably not. Probably not. This one will be opening below. Well, again, I don't know where it's going to open, but right now it is below the 10 EMA on a daily. We've been there before, managed to rally back. It looks like we have a mini double bottom that could save us, but this location does look a little bit on the weaker side. Just if we can't open above 379.65 on the Qs, we probably have the ability to come down and retest this 376.65 today. And again, that would at least be some good. I mean, not good for the bulls, but a good at least give us a little range today. We'll see. But yeah, to the downside, we still should have a pretty strong support somewhere around 376.45. To the higher side, I mean, first stop is 380.65. And if that one breaks, probably 383.15. I don't know if we get all the way up there. If we get all the way up there, it's about a 50-50 risk reward. You don't really have great odds either way. If we get stalled out somewhere around 380.85, that would probably be your bearish trade. If we could rally a little bit, we'll see. Let's take a look at pins. Pin interest. A little bit of gap down. Was this earnings from them? Yep. Surprise beat to the upside by 9 cents. Surprise beat to the upside by $11 million, and gap down. Gap down. Has to be priced for perfection. Yes, there's a little bit of a gap and go. I do like I kind of like the location on it. So I like the fact if you're going to go bearish and play this gap and go, 27.71 is the spot that I don't think it should break. If it starts breaking that, then it's actually going to retest, I think, a little bit higher. So that would be your zone. So the fact that we're below that, I'd put more weight to the downside than anything. Not sure how far we come down, but probably looking at a 27.16 would be the zone that I think we get to. And then if it really starts picking up, I think 26.82 would be final targets on pins. Anything past that, we start to really feel the heat. On a daily chart, it does look a little bit head and shoulders. Right. So if we do that, this would be your neckline, probably somewhere about here. I don't know why my there we go, trend line. Something like this would be your neckline, which makes me believe more that today would be a day that maybe the furthest we go is into this neckline. That takes us right into this zone. Hang out there for a day or two, and then if you want to play it, it could break, retest, and then that's the spot you want to short if that happens. But probably a little bit of support coming in 20, what I say, 27.16, somewhere around there. All right, let's check out Boeing. But yeah, I would say a little bit more bearish than bullish on pins. Boeing with a little bit of a blow off top yesterday, so it started to break out. It was not able to really carry it through. It's moved a lot pretty heavy pretty quickly. Again, this is a tremendous breakout candle. I don't think the dippers are out of the market yet. That being said, I think what we'd have to do is put a fib on this one to see where this retracement actually could get to. I would start it down here. Yeah, I'd probably have to start it down here. It's kind of where the move really started. There's the top of it. So even on a 50% retracement, this is where I think the bulls some bulls will be sitting down at 225.84, and then you'll probably get some more somewhere down at this 221.73 zone. But you definitely did put in a pretty much a blow off top yesterday. I would have to look at this thing as definitely bearish. There's not really a lot of liquidity to hold us back. This so far, I know we only looked at really two so far, but this one might be my favorite as of this second. I'm going to throw this one to the top of the list. If TradingView lets me. Come on, TradingView. There you go, buddy. You got it. This would be a great candidate if we get any type of buying at open to take a short underneath. I kind of like it. Just a quick side note, if you guys are typing and you have host and panels on, if you guys can change it over. Just so everybody doesn't think I'm talking to myself. GameStop from Kevin Stone, GME. Going full on meme on a Wednesday morning. Okay. Let's go. Price is gapping down a little bit, so this would be a retest gap. I do find the meme stocks are going to live in their own universe. It's like you got Marvel, you got DC, and then you got meme stocks. That's its own little universe. So it could do some crazier things. Again, if we draw a trend line on this one, I'm wondering if we're into a little bit of support or if we're breaking through it. No. So actually, this looks like the support. This was our breakdown candle. This one probably comes lower, but I wouldn't be the first one to short this, as it is a retest gap. So I'd let this thing come back up a little bit, and then maybe a little bit later in the day, see if this thing wants to roll over. But targets to the downside, I'd be looking for maybe $20.88 would be my first stop. My first stop on GameStop, and then $20.54 would be my next one. 2054 I think is very achievable for today. And if the entire market starts to sell and this thing really hits some pressure, 1954 would be a very interesting target if it could get there. I don't know that that's going to happen today, but that would be a good location, at least for a longer term, maybe bounce on GameStop. Again, GameStop fundamentally, you're probably still overvalued in price. GameStop, for just pumping it up is, you're just kind of looking for the squeezes more than anything on GameStop. Dynatrace. I don't know what the volume looks like on this one. Just as I've never day traded this one personally. I think I did a swing trade on this one before. But yeah, you're pulling back a little bit. Technically, it's gap and go. We definitely put it in a pretty decent double top. I don't like all of this congestion down here. There's a lot of different support spots that we're in. So we're into a little bit of support zone that maybe some of the bulls would not mind taking a stab at DT. So even though this is a gap and go, I'd pretty much need this thing to clear 50.38. So anything below 50.38, I think we have a decent shot to just kind of continue to drop. That drop probably only takes us to about 49.15. But see if this one, I think this one is actually a fadeable gap. We'll see what happens at open, but SDG, it's down a lot though. Solar Edge. Another just absolutely massive gap down on earnings. Did they beat as well? They beat on earnings per share, and then they missed by 2.5 mil on the rev side. Again, this one I think is fadeable northbound. Northbound and up. See if you get a little more selling though in this one. So again, I don't want to with a big massive gap like this, it is difficult to play. I do like the support level down here. We had a little bit of a double bottom. This all could be a retest, and this is a massive gap down. So I don't really want to be the first one into it, as you are definitely trapping a lot of bears. This thing has been trending down into earnings as well. So there's also some people to the short side. If I was bullish, I'd probably be looking somewhere down here to buy if I like this company. And if I was bearish all the way down, this would probably be a target for me to at least sell a lot or most of my position. And then even if I didn't want to get all out of this thing, I'd be seeing with a very small position to see if we could break down and kind of break this pivot. So SEDG. All right. Definitely gonna be one to watch. FRSH. Freshworks. Kind of reminds me of SolidWorks. They got I have no idea what they do, but decent little gap up. Technically, it is a gap and go. However, the red candle that we're using for that gap and go was just an inside resting day after a bullish move. We've also trended bullish in this one ahead of time. Let me just see if there's any resistance up here. Kind of. Maybe somewhere around 2088. So watch the 2088 zone. If that one starts to break, you might get some more room on this thing. I would even say up to about 2179. Otherwise, this is another big, massive gap on Freshworks. And even though it is a gap and go, I think I would be looking for more of a bearish play. Fade this thing back a little bit. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. The Tessie. There it is, 255.30. Yes. Retest gap. Technically, I like this location a lot. We're below all those VPOCs. We also had a very, very big consolidation in the zone. I think this one could have targets down to 247.63. This is going pretty high on the list as well to take this one short. And again, I like the fact that we did consolidate for a very long time. Maybe took some bulls in some of those days that could be getting trapped, thinking that we could close this gap almost immediately. But I think the pressure is on Tesla to the downside. I don't really see any other spots that could really interfere with or be really a good spot for the bulls to kind of come in, at least until we get to this 247. The only other spot that I would see is 250, which is a psychological whole number. So you probably have a little bit of people like, hey, if I could get it at 250. So that might be difficult. Otherwise, I think we could break it. So 247.63, that's going to go extremely high on the list as well. AMD did report. They did beat by a penny. Like one penny, I think. Yep. And then surprise upside of revenue for about 40 million. The market is taking this one very, very gracefully to the bullish side. Personally, on just that earnings report. So this one is different than a lot of the ones that we've seen. All right, this one, yeah, it had a good run up prior, but that was a long time ago. We've been struggle busting this sideways trade. I am a little concerned in this area and off that move. This is a retest gap. Good volume obviously came in yesterday. I think this one could get some kind of people wanting to take profit, I would think. So if I was going to play this one, it would have to be either bearish to fade this thing down, or at least I know I don't want to go bullish at open for me. So that means if I don't play it, see if we can get a pullback to 117.46. That would be the spot to go, or attempt to go long if we want to. But it does have a little bit of resistance in here. Otherwise, if it starts to break this resistance, the next target would be about 124.29. I think is a very interesting spot for AMD to get to. We are above that 120, so we've already cleared that first little psychological hold number. And we'll see if we keep on pushing on this one. But I don't want to be the first one to buy it. I'd rather look for the Boeing and Tesla shorts. Because this one will have some kind of bullish catalyst, but I think looking for a fade, or at least waiting for it to get down there and maybe playing that one later in the day could be interesting. SoFi and Unity Software. SoFi Technologies just had a nice little squeeze. $10.04. Again, this one should be technically, is this inside day? No, it's not inside day, but it is a retest gap. Not quite at a support yet, so this thing could come lower. 978 would be probably the target for today. Maybe if that one breaks, we get to 966. So not too much room. I would, and then to the upside again, you probably don't have much room either. So you're looking for something in here. And target, even if this thing I think really drops, would be here. And we're opening right about here. So again, I don't really have much room on either side. I would have to wait for this thing to just kind of come up, retest, and that would at least give me better risk reward. Give me a little bit more room to run, and then maybe come down a little. But watch where this one closes. This will be an interesting close. If we do not come and retest this gap, this would be an island reversal, which is typically a very strong reversal signal in the market or for the stock. Right? So watch the close. If this thing does not come back, SoFi could be heading a little bit lower going forward on a daily. So that would be an impressive island reversal. All right, Unity Software. Unity. And we could also take a look. I want to take a look at some of the pre-markets on at least the top 3 that we were looking for. Because this market has been unforgiving to slow people. Unity Software, so that one is a little bit of a gap and go. Still just kind of tangled up in here. There's going to be some very good support coming in. I got 3 levels of support. So it is a gap and go. You're not really breaking out of the range. If this thing was opening somewhere around 42, 43, I think we'd have a better opportunity on this one. And that would take us down to like $40.86, something like that. Maybe we'd be looking even for $39.87. So they could be future targets. I just don't see it yet. Otherwise, so I would let this thing chop around. If this thing does want to come back up, 45.27, somewhere in that zone would be a decent short spot. So short that as high as possible. Palantir, PLTR, which has, it did finally, I was watching that $20 range like a hawk yesterday. Finally broke through. I think it got to like $20.20, something like that, 22 cents. And we are pulling back. There's obviously a lot of strength in Palantir right now. But this is a gap and go. This could be a fadeable. This one could be very, very shortable. We're going to need the market to cooperate on this one. But otherwise, you're now trapping 2 different days of VPOCs that people were bullish. I don't think this is a massive turnaround for Palantir, and we're back to $7 by the end of the week. I don't think that, but you do have targets down to 1807. So I would say 1807 would be target. What makes this one a little bit more challenging, and there's really nothing in the way for that, except for maybe the lows of yesterday. So 1882, this has bullish sentiment. We're trending bullish. It's been doing some really, really decent pushing in the bullish direction. So if we come back down to this 1882, there's probably going to be some bulls there. I would assume the very low of the day, 1838, there would also be some bulls, and those are chances for some kind of rallies. Otherwise, my target would be about this 1807 zone. So I don't know if it's going to be the easiest short. It looks like it's got a ton of range. I think that would be the way to play this one today, is just go bearish, as we are trapping some bulls after an astonishing run. But I think there's some people still looking to get into Palantir on the pullbacks with the right price. Some people that absolutely just missed the move. Kind of looks like a head and shoulders forming. I forgot what stock that was that we were talking about. Nice gap down on Tesla. Yep, Tesla we looked at. So that would be interesting. Puts will be happy this morning. Everybody gets a day. Everybody gets one day. A good stock is good for the soul. That's got to be GameStop. His nickname is Diamonds Kevin. Carlos says, when Fed cuts rates, solar will be better for swing longs. Customers will be use financing for solar builds. I would say, how much time we got? We got 5 minutes. So yeah, I would say that the Fed cutting rates won't have as much effect over the government policies. So where they give discounts, breaks, tax loopholes, a lot of, like, even for EVs, you can get up to $7,000 if you buy an EV before the end of the year. So different things like that, I think, will have big effects. So and I would assume that whoever wins the upcoming presidential race, I'm not even positive who's actually running at this point, but whoever wins, whichever party, there's going to be one that's more favorable to solar and energy, clean energy, things like that, where you probably see some of those tax breaks and incentives continue. So we'll see. Microsoft MSFT. Gap down. It's a decent gap down. Probably target on this one would be about 330.97. I'm gonna move this one up higher on the list as well. 330.97. Decent gap down. We're still in this big one candle, but that candle was bearish. And if we are breaking out of a pennant pattern, we're still right at the bottom of that pennant pattern. See if this one could get bought up first. That would be a good candidate if we do get a nice screen candle to take a break. We should. The S-curve play maybe on AMD. AMD for the daily, it does look a little S-curve. Again, we had this wide open gap, so this is us just kind of filling that gap. We are making higher lows. At open though, again, I don't think, especially if the rest of the market is going to be down, do I really want to go bullish on it? Although it does have some bullish momentum today from earnings. They beat. I mean, so there was that, but I don't think it was the most amazing earnings report I've ever seen, but it wasn't bad. BABA does have a little bit of a gap down as well. So this one's gapping down about $2.20. BABA, JD, a lot of the Chinese names that trade more or less on the Hong Kong board, these things tend to gap frequently. So I don't put as much weight behind any of the gaps from something like BABA, JD. There's a bunch of companies that will gap every day. Race would be one of them, I think, too, which is Ferrari, I think. So this one will get gaps quite frequently. You see it more over here. It's being steady, consistent. I think the trend is bullish on this one. I think people might want to try to get into this thing bullish. You do have some support here, 97.22. So while it is a gap and go bearish, I'd be curious to see how we handle this 97.22 zone. That's also where you start to meet the 10 and see if this thing actually rallies back a little bit from here. But otherwise, yeah, little bit of a decent gap down. T-Doc trying to make a comeback. You stop it, Cindy. You stop it. You got to be messing with me now. Now I know. This is how I know. Teladoc, let's see. This was a good breakout candle. This is a retest into some moving averages, into below a little support. Honestly, I think Teladoc comes down lower, but this is the retest gap. I wouldn't go long on this thing at all, most likely ever. But if this thing gets up to like this 27.80, that would be the spot to look to short. AMSC. Quite the little gap we had yesterday. I got a minute left. Well, I didn't get to look at the pre-market. AMSC just kind of opening inside that day range. So look for continuation, but see if this thing pulls back to 1385, 1383 first. All right, let's get the new share. Let me go to TOS. Let me throw up some of those companies we were looking at. I think most of them probably on the list already. We'll see if we can find anything. Everybody out there in YouTube land, I do appreciate you guys joining us each and every day. It is free week. You don't have to actually leave us today. No, you can just come on to reallifetrader.com. You can just fill out the quick little banner and hang out with us all day long. You guys are awesome.